Let's take a look at these awesome Masters of the WWE Universe figures coming up after this. I'm a huge Masters of the Universe fan. I'm a huge WWE action figure fan, actually, too. Haven't followed it since the 80s, but it doesn't really matter because these awesome 5.5-inch figures are amazing. I mean, they're not as good as the originals. I'll talk about that later. I've opened up the Ring playset, but I had to order it from a second-party seller on Amazon, and I did a review of that. You can check that out for sure. When this line was introduced, we were told that the parts would be able to mix and match, and you could put them together with the new upcoming Masters of the Universe series, so that was really cool. What I did not know is that you can also mix and match with your Masters of the Universe classics. So the things like the hand grip and the torso size and everything, it actually fits a lot of the classics things, and they're reusing a lot of the parts from the classics, which I guess is saving money in the initial run. It appears that all of the prototypes or the previews that we're seeing for the new Masters of the Universe series, they don't seem to be using the same sculpts. Seems like everything that they're bringing in is totally different. Same style, but I think they're recreating all of the same things within the Masters line. But for some reason, with this line, they're using classics accessories. Before any of this, there was a line called Create a WWE Superstar, and it had pretty much exactly the same system. Cut at the same place here at the ankles, you could cut at the waist here, the head came off, the arms came off. Some of these connections actually fit on the new system. So as you can see here, he is borrowing a lot of stuff. Something that you can't do is the neck. And the waist is also a different peg system, but it's not right on and it's not exactly, but it does work. And I was a huge fan of these, and I did pick up quite a few sets, which I haven't opened a lot of them, but some of them I have. And that's really exciting too, that you can bring in all of these other things. Now, I never opened up any of my classics figures at all, but the one set that I bought two of was the prototype 3-pack of Vicron. And it was actually just little outfits that you could dress up your figure that came with it in. So it's 3 different outfits for one action figure. But the fact that they fit on, and they fit on so well, this looks like a new adventure. He-Man, so cool. The heads of the classics do fit on a little bit. It's like the kind of the balance, but they stay in there. It's not the same size ball joint. It is kind of remarkable how much interchanging is actually going on, even though they didn't stick with exactly the same system. It appears that some of the helmets are actually going to be able to fit on the heads. From what I've seen, they try to keep the head around this size so that you can swap different kind of masks and helmets. But we have to get to opening up this Masters of the WWE Universe Wave 2. Wave number 1 never showed up in Canada, which is really upsetting, and I don't know if it ever is going to. But Canada is luckily the first place to get Wave 2 in retail. It's funny, when the 2000X series came out, I was also one of the, or I think I was the first person to put the pictures from that up on the board. It was before Instagram, and social media has definitely exploded way more in present day. Okay, so we get Rey Mysterio. Now, he's kind of my favorite because he's the first one to be completely naked torso, no cuffs, nothing, no interfering. So that's a really good guy to get for making customs. And then we got Macho Man Randy Savage, one of the classics. And yeah, he looks great. Back of the card, it's so much like how they used to be. Now, this card might look different to you because this is an international card. I think that means that the comics inside are not going to have any words on them. I think that's what they're doing. And then we have Faker John Cena, translucent because he's invisible. It's funny how they're not cross-selling the other 4 figures on the back of the card. That's also scaring me. And then lastly, we have Roman Reigns, and he looks awesome. And that is the back of his cards. Now, these cards seem to be like pretty good, but I noticed that by the time I got them home, there's something about this cardstock that dings up and gets soft really badly. So in my bag, as I was carrying them home, and I was trying to be careful too, they did get banged up, but I guess I might try some tricks with the glue. I'm going to save the cards. I'm going to carefully cut the figures off around the clamshell. So it says includes comic, which is just a folded in half piece of paper, but I'm glad and happy that it's there. Something interesting that I did notice about these bubbles is that they all come in the same size. Like, usually the width of the bubble would change according to the size of the figure, but what they've done in this case, I guess they have one standard size bubble, and they're all exactly the same distance. So some figures have more air behind them than other figures, depending on what their accessories are. So the figures are trapped in between 2 pieces of bubble, and there is a little baggie of their accessories that is taped to the back of the inside of the package. They are secured in with an elastic band in quite a few places. I really appreciate how the comics were put into the card. With the Super 7 figures, the 5.5 figures, they tried to do the same vintage card style, but their card got kind of stuck in the bubble, so you couldn't, you kind of had to rip the bubble off. I mean, I managed to get it out, but because it had the same kind of embedded corner there, it was really difficult to get the comic book out. And the quality of the paper isn't bad. I'll show you those later. This is what the back of the card looks like. It's pretty sweet. I didn't love it when I saw the promotion pictures on it. It's not bad. I mean, it seems kind of plain. Maybe it needs more rocks or something. It's pretty nice though. I was collecting quite a few WWE figures before this because of things like Create a Superstar, and they also would have zombies and monsters, and I thought those figures were amazing. It was just like this. It was a mashup between wrestlers and properties. Never would have I dreamed that they would take Masters of the Universe. However, when Create a Superstar came out, I had wished that they would make a Masters of the Universe line that was like this, and you could mix and match, and lo and behold, here we go. Toy dreams do come true. So one place where all of those new companies that were trying to get into the 5.5 market went wrong was with the accessories. And they didn't have the removable armor. Most of it was just in the sculpts, and they were all individual sculpts, which was great. But one of the great things about Masters of the Universe was the fact that it had all of these accessories. And something that I love about Masters of the Universe accessories that I still love in toys today is when they're not painted. It's more toy-like, and I know a lot of collectors will complain about just adding some paint detail to their accessories, but it is how I always do toys. And you want to know something? And I think I kind of figured it out because of the toys that I like to collect, and I'm really usually drawn to baby toys. Recently I kind of made the correlation that Masters of the Universe really were kind of like toddler toys, but they were creepy toddler toys. Tough, barbaric, just simple, bright pops of color, and that's what I was drawn to. Odd, brightly painted, awesome, like stocky, giant baby characters. Giant muscular baby characters. So then, that's where this line, I think, goes wrong for me, is that they are stocky, but they're missing a little bit of the bulk. Like, the heads are a little smaller, the feet are a little smaller, where the joints are just makes their appendages just a little bit dinky and fragile, And that is what I am missing the most from these compared to the originals. Okay, let me show you what a Canadian comic book looks like. So all of these comics are based on the artwork from the original comics. So that's really great. And so there we have the cross cell on the back. Inside we have the comic. But in the international cards, we do not have the words. Now, in some ways, that's upsetting, but in other ways, we get to see more of the art over here. I kind of like that. The art is really well done, actually. It looks less digital, which is something that I certainly love. It is that hand-painted artwork and 70s colors that I fell in love with in the original series. Yeah, so that's what's going on there. They're not just basing each figure on one character. Like in some instances they do, but I kind of really like, at first I didn't. I wanted each character to be a specific character, but they're mixing and matching the weapons. Like John Cena isn't just He-Man. He's He-Man, he's Faker, he's Spike-Or. So they're throwing in all kinds of different things. We've got Man-at-Arms, but he's also Battle Armor He-Man. Rey Mysterio is Stratos, though. There's no other elements on him. And then Roman Reigns, I guess maybe he is kind of all Fisto. I mean, he has He-Man's shield. This is actually the shield that they're using for He-Man. At least it was in the San Diego Comic-Con one, which I still haven't gotten. And that's really upsetting to me. Okay, let's look at Roman Reigns right now. So he's interesting because he is made more like one of the later waves of the Masters of the Universe figures because he has the sculpted on chest. So he is the first one to have a unique chest. Everybody else had painted or just sculpted in the same body. And I'm just gonna show you what this is like here. The arms come out of the shoulders. We've got the head that comes off, and he's got a lot of hair. I guess this is a good example of how She-Ra is going to be made. And here is the torso that is actually chest armor, and it is very close to Fisto's chest armor. I should definitely have my original figures out here to compare. I might do a secondary video. Let me know if you want a secondary video where I do take a look, because I do have all of these figures in their original forms. And I like this. I like that this is a nice, great piece. You've got these black tights. It's really sad that they don't come off at the hip joints. I think that would be a great piece. They come off at the boot, even though some are quite tight. And these are meant to do this. So you get this piece. I've seen people online have actually heated them and taken them a bit further, like at the knees and at the hip. This is a really special piece because it is a solid chest armor. And like I said, that is what they did later in the line. They started sculpting the figures individually. Yeah, I really love the solid colored parts because those are the ones that are definitely going to be more versatile for swapping. If I ever find these on discount, I'll probably buy every single figure I can get, because I would be able to mix and match the parts and make my own figure. So his accessory is this Fisto fist, which is awesome. And unlike with Fisto, which was attached, this one can be popped on. Just lightly snaps into place, but it can go on anybody, so anybody can share the fist, and that's excellent. And because they're trying to throw in as many accessories as possible, they even include the shield, which is so awesome that they do that. They really try to soup it up and give you excellent, excellent figures. This is a really nice rubbery texture too. That must be how the girls are going to be done. I'm going to save my favorite for last. Rey is definitely my favorite. Macho Man. So Macho Man has elements of Man-at-Arms, and his helmet is removable, which is super sweet, and it totally can fit on the other characters. They've done a pretty good job at keeping the same kind of profile in their heads, I've noticed. All of the 6 of these seem to have the same size head. But Triple H's head was really small, but I think they do it on purpose so that things like that can be adapted. Like, that head really is at a scale, and I really am liking this wave actually because, well, I haven't seen wave 1, so I don't know, but the first 2 ring figures, I guess this is the same head that you you get with the Triple H that comes in the carded pack, but it's really small, and it kind of made them less Masters of the Universe-y. These ones all have a good sized noggin, so these are all Masters of the Universe-y. Love the bright pops of color on the boots, the bright orange trunks, and the purple armor, and then we have all of this extra stuff. We get the Man-at-Arms mace, which was the one that was in the Classics figure. Seeing all of these accessories kind of make me want to open up my Classics. I was going to sell them all, but now I kind of want to like open them up and use their accessories. And then he has these shin guards, and they go on very much like the original. And this is part of why I wanted Mattel to get back into the 5.5 game. The way that the plastic feels is way superior, and all of these companies trying to do 5.5, I don't know what their factory's experiences with plastic is, but they were just breaking, legs were falling off. I mean, these haven't been out that long, but I haven't seen any casualties with these, and that has a lot to do with Mattel and I guess their years into the industry, and just these great pops of color. Now, something that you can do is replace his chest plates. I watched a few reviews of these, and I saw that when you do switch out the chest plate, you do cause some stress to it, so I'm not going to do that. I don't need to have battle damage. I am really quite surprised that they didn't implement the original battle damage. I find that kind of bizarre. It's not that much of a gimmick, and I usually don't like gimmicks. I actually never had battle damage figures as a child because the gimmicks didn't appeal to me then. You can see there are two little tabs on each side, and you can switch out the glasses. So we've got the regular undamaged glasses. We have the cracked glasses for the first punch. Second punch, the glasses have shattered completely. So that is really cool, but I don't need to display those things. And then here is what the normal body physique looks like. It's pretty much identical to the regular Masters of the Universe. They're looking good. I'm feeling a lot better than I am with the first two figures that I opened. They seemed a little bit dinky. I think it has to do with the head size on these things. Maybe it's more accessories too, but they're looking and feeling like the Masters of the Universe figures that I love. The joints don't mean anything to me. I don't need them. They're not necessary. Oh, I forgot to mention the wrists also come off. They're also swappable. That's kind of an important part. That's what differentiates them from the Create a Superstar. That's not a Create a Superstar. Well, it is. It's got the Create a Superstar parts on. The wrists didn't come off on these guys. But besides that, they had all of the same removable parts. Plastic feels great on these. It feels so strong and sturdy and not brittle or fragile at all. I do have to do another video with my other figures, and I need to swap out the other armor to see if the chest plates of the old figures fit on. I know that it didn't work with the Super 7 figures, but perhaps it might work with these ones. Oh yeah, I'm having even more fun with these ones. I wonder what Wave 1 is like. Okay, John Cena as Faker, and he's translucent. I can't. There's very little that I like more than translucent figures. Every time I see a translucent figure, I have to get it. He has He-Man's cuffs on. I never talked about the points of articulation. I'm assuming that you know, and you don't have to worry about these falling apart or anything. They hold together very well. I'm curious if the armor is exactly the same sculpt. It is. This is the one that came with the ring, and it is the same. It just has a different painted logo on it, and it is removable, which I should have waited to do, but I really am curious to see how the deco is put on there. It seems to be printed on there, and printed on there so well. It's not coming off. It's not a sticker. Translucent awesomeness. So good. They probably should have not went with pants. I know it's a very signature look for them. Long shorts aren't going to look barbaric in any way. It did look good in this modern look. I do like them as space pants. Alright, and then he's got some knuckles, and they look like this. One says life, and the other says word. Oh, and they also gave him a bicep band, the same logo as on his chest. And I'm not sure which side it goes on. Everything's really versatile, though. I've got some 12-inch figures that also have those bands that I mix and match with some of my other 12-inch dolls or figures. And then we've got another accessory. This is very trendy in fashion right now. The chain with the lock on it. Man, he comes with a lot. John Cena seems to be the star of the show. And then he comes with this awesome spike mace. And I'm assuming that this is the one that came with Spike Ore in the Classics line. I don't know if I got him back there or not. Yeah, he needs that pop. Blue, orange, complementary colors. Yeah, fantastic. Okay, and last, my favorite one, just because the colors are so bright. He's Mexican wrestler style, also awesomeness. He's got the backpack from the Classics. It's so funny because the Classics are a whole inch taller than these guys. At one point, something went wrong with the Matty Collector collection, and to make it up, they sent everybody a free figure, and mine was Stratos. So this is a awesome time to show you that. And yeah, it's the same backpack. It's just in a different shade of blue. This one's more vibrant, which I like. Classics kind of seem dirty. They're a little more grown up, and that is why I never really liked them, but I did collect them all until Super 7 got their hands on them, and I couldn't afford to do that living in Canada. It would have been $60 a figure for me, and that was just too much. So I had to stop when Matty Collector stopped. Everything that I love about Masters of the Universe is in this character. Bright and just plain and simple. Yet he's got a lot of accessories too. His feet are bigger than the other figures too. So I'm super loving him. I don't know why he has such big feet. I guess they're trying to make him look like a superhero, and this was the superhero boot that they had. Such a fat, plump toe, but that makes me love him even more. His head is a great size. Let's put on the wings. So, like I said, the wrists do pop off. The wings are the same on this Stratos too. Had I known that all of these accessories would have fit on my original Masters of the Universe, I would have went crazy. I would have gotten myself a 3D printer, printed out a standard Buck figure, and took all of the Classics accessories and put them on standard Masters of the Universe bodies. Wait, it would be better if I showed you his full-on, awesome, totally shirtless body first. His tabs are two little tabs that snap into the back there. See that? That pulls over his head. All of the skin tones are maybe a little bit different, but I guess they're close enough that you can kind of mix and match the skin tones. Actually, he seems to be darker than everyone else. He's not as dark as Roman. I guess they're all different. They're close, but they're not the same. So that part's kind of a mistake because we've got this awesome 100% no accessory shirtless torso. But if we put a head on it, like this pea head here, it's not going to match the skin tone. So, gee, I guess he only can put on masked heads, like so. So these seem to be the same mold. It doesn't seem to be a left and a right. So they can go on either bicep. They had this shape to them. It looked like that they were supposed to go on a specific side. But I kind of noticed you just slide them up and they fit on perfect and stay on perfect. Something else that I noticed about all of those fake 5.5s that have been coming out, none of the accessories stayed on. They were always falling off. This stuff is all working real good. The hand grips are pretty good too. This harness is kind of like a puzzle. First you have to stick that shape into that shape, and then you put these shapes over here. I'm so pleased with the plastics that the accessories are made out of. Bodies do seem a bit hollow and a bit lighter than the original Masters of the Universe. I guess when they designed the forearms and the wrists for these figures, that they took into account that they were putting on the Classics accessories because they do fit like a glove. What an awesome way to reuse all of the tooling. I've never had a problem with recolored, remolded accessories. That's kind of what I love about Masters of the Universe. It's all about switching things up and how there's this connection between everything, but just by recoloring it, you can turn it into something completely different. And here is Rey Mysterio all decked out in his awesome outfit. Paint job is really well done, printed on, I guess, opposed to hand painted, and it looks so good. Ingenious to make Stratos a Mexican wrestler. So good. Okay, I love these figures. I love you guys. Stay tuned at the end. I'll put together some mix and match concoction. And like, comment, share, and subscribe. And we'll see you next time. I love a mini comic. So nice that that's included. Really great art too. Can't believe it's just pictures over here in Canada. Don't know what's happening in the comic. So these actually don't have bios. It's just Faker John Cena, evil robot of the Skull King. And it's written into 500 languages. Roman Reigns, heroic big dog. Rey Mysterio, heroic high flyer. Macho Man Randy Savage, master of macho madness. So maybe I should put together my favorite parts. I just spent so much time putting this stuff on. It's part of the fun. There's so much swappability that it's reminding me with playing with Modulok. And I would play with that figure until my hands hurt. Him and Multibot putting the pieces together in different formations over and over again. We need a barefoot one. Oh, I hope somebody's barefoot one day. I need those bare feet. The only head that's going to work on this is this. Oh no, I haven't used anything from Macho Man yet. Okay, I'm going to have to make him into a bumblebee. Here we go, guys. It's the best of, well, the best that can work together of Series 2, of Wave 2, whatever you call it. Oh yeah, I like the simple stuff. I love that you can mix and match these. When they do the paint apps, it's done so well. It's printed on amazingly well. Look at those great details. That chest plate again. Man, that's cool. Done so well. Love just the simple white stars, Macho Man on the back. Oh, looks so good. I didn't really show you John Cena's sneakers. They painted them up. Something crazy.